We helped a cash pay regenerative medicine clinic in Tampa add $1 million a year in revenue with the 3 things I'll discuss in this video today without changing a single thing in their lead generation. All the changes we made were around how they nurture their leads, and more specifically, the fact that their staff wasn't really doing it right, if at all. And before you jump in and say, no, my team's solid, I get it, they probably are. When was the last time you logged in and checked the pipeline yourself? Do you know exactly what percentage of new leads get contacted within the first hour? Can you see which care coordinator followed up with which patient and how many times? And if the answer is, not really sure, don't worry, you're not alone. I do like 40 consulting calls a week with cash pay medical practice owners, and most of them don't know the answers to these questions. But this is one of the top reasons I see clinics hit a plateau. It's not ads, it's not SEO, it's not the offer. It's that the back-end system that's supposed to drive conversion is either broken or completely ignored. So today I want to talk you through the 3 reasons why your staff probably isn't using your CRM and exactly what you can do about it today. So the reason number 1, lack of accountability. We're going to start with the big one here. It's not that fun to talk about some of this stuff, but the reality is this is what's going on. Most staff don't use the CRM consistently because they were never held accountable to do so, or they maybe even were hired and weren't even told that we were going to use a CRM. Now, I'm not saying that the team's lazy or unmotivated or that you're a bad boss, and in most cases, it's not even the team's fault. But here's how it usually plays out. You're gonna hire a care coordinator, let's call her Janie, and you also have Chelsea, your clinic manager, who's in charge of making sure that Janie is on task and doing what she's supposed to do. And now you introduce Go High Level. You train the team, and everybody nods along in the Zoom meeting, and you check back a week later and everything's a mess. There's no tags, there's no notes, everybody's in the same column, leads are marked as no-show that clearly never had an appointment. Why? Because it wasn't made explicitly clear that keeping Go High Level updated, or your CRM, whatever you use, every day before they leave the office is part of their job. And it wasn't made clear to Chelsea that she needs to be auditing that system 2 to 3 times per week, and maybe Chelsea doesn't even know what she's looking for. That's not a people problem, that's a process problem. So what we do with clients, and what I recommend for you, is set up a weekly KPI tracking system so that your manager or even your front desk person can audit the pipeline midweek, and at the end of the week, she updates the KPI sheet, and when you get your weekly report from your team, it's not just numbers pulled from thin air, it's real data from the system. So now the staff knows that the system matters. Chelsea knows she's responsible, and you know exactly what's going on, bringing you peace of mind for building the business without having to chase anybody down to pull information or pull teeth from people. That's what true accountability looks like, is building a system that keeps people on task and focused on productivity. Reason number 2 that I see that clinics fall short with implementing the CRM properly. Here's something I learned the hard way. If compensation isn't tied to the platform, it gets kind of ignored. So if the CRM doesn't determine your team's paycheck, it will not determine their behavior. Let me say it again. If the CRM doesn't determine their paycheck, it will not determine their behavior. And when your care coordinator is bonused on a handwritten tally on a sticky note or a Google sheet that they filled in themselves, or verbal communication from a patient saying, I talked with them, or whatever else you're using, the CRM becomes optional. Successful clinics make it non-optional. So here's what we do. We tie bonuses to data from the CRM. Bottom line. For example, a bonus based on how many patients are in the attended new patient appointment column. That's it. For membership model clinics, you want to do net members gained. So you want to do like how many people are in the new members column minus the canceled members column. That's it. If they don't log it in the system, they ain't getting paid. Now, I know a lot of you are generous with bonuses, and that's great. I support that. Pay your people as well as you can afford to. But without a central source of truth, the team learns that updates are optional and sloppy data becomes the norm. So flip the script. Make GHL the single form of truth, and suddenly the CRM is going to get very clean, very fast. Reason number 3, and this is the least fun one to talk about. This is the part that no one wants to hear. Leadership by example is usually missing. If your staff isn't using the system, there's a good chance that you aren't either. Now, I'm not saying you need to be in there every day. You have better things to do. But if you never open GHL or your CRM, if you never reference it in meetings, if your team never sees that you care about it, then why would they? Leadership trickles down. If you spend 60 seconds a week scanning the pipeline, asking questions, noticing trends, the team's going to learn, oh, this matters to the owner? I want to be compensated with pride. I want to be compensated with recognition. People will go to war for money, but they will die for a ribbon. People want to do a good job. They want to be recognized. But if they feel like nobody's looking, or like they did all this work and it was futile and it didn't get them like forward at all, they didn't get more money or they didn't get recognition, they're going to stop doing it. They're going to stop trying. So lead by example, model the behavior and reward the behavior. You don't need more tools. You don't need automations. You just need to use the ones you have. It's usually not a software problem. I see a lot of clinics jumping from like agency CRM to agency CRM every 90 days. And then like 6 months down the road, you've got like 6 different CRMs and your team's using all of them and like updating leads in different places. Like the platform's not the issue. The problem is that you're not getting all your vendors to plug into one CRM. You don't own your own CRM. And you think the platform is the issue, but it's not. You don't need something easier to use. You don't need better notifications. You don't need a power dialer. You don't need AI. You just need your team to take the existing tools seriously. You need simple expectations with your team. Like the simpler, the better. You need clear KPIs on what you're trying to accomplish. You need fair bonuses, and you need consistent check-ins. This is how we helped a clinic in Tampa add $1 million a year just by tightening up their patient communication and follow-up. No additional ad spend, no fancy automations, just better usage of the tools they already had. Same thing with HealMD in Northern California. They scaled from 25 to 80 grand a month, not by hiring more people, but by getting their current team aligned and accountable. This works, but only if the foundation is strong. So here's how we set this up for clients. Every time we start with a new clinic, one of the first things we do is audit their CRM. If they don't have one, we set them up with Go High Level. It's just the one I like. It's one I've used for like 10 years now. We export their contacts from all the old systems, and then I start doing what I call the integrated funnel strategy. I want their inbound calls, their website leads, Facebook leads, social leads, everything I want going into one place. Everything, instead of like sticky notes and emails all over the place, I want it in one spot. That way, you can have control over the entire patient flow and you know nothing's falling through the cracks. Because your business should own its own process, not be dependent on like some agency CRM. I want all of your stuff plugged into one place. And then, I mean, candidly, I just charge you like software costs, like whatever it would cost you to normally get high level, that's what we charge. And then what I would do with your team, whether you work together with us or not, is meet weekly with targeted outcomes about the KPIs. Like we got this many leads, we got this many appointments, we got this many to convert, we got this many to upsell and resell. And then set goals, like here's the constraint of the business, we're not getting enough here, we're not getting enough here, here. And then make decisions based on that, on what you need to improve with either your manual outreach or your automated outreach inside that same CRM so that you can move the needle forward in one of the areas that you're deficient. I look at it very simple, those 5 core functions: lead gen, lead nurture, conversion, delivery, upsell, resell. And using this is how we helped 8 different clinics add $17 million in additional revenue last year without spending a single dollar on ads. So if you want to implement some of this yourself, I've got a couple documents that might help you. I took like 10 years of knowledge and information, and I filmed like 75 videos and created PDFs for every single one of the video, downloadables, all free stuff. I've built a free resource for you, completely free tool that you can gain access to. Just click the link in the description below and you should be able to just create a login and log right in, and you'll get access to those 5 different modules: lead gen, lead nurture, conversion, delivery, upsell, resell. So just kind of wrapping up here. If your CRM's a mess, if your team isn't logging updates, if you're flying blind on patient follow-up, don't beat yourself up. It's a fixable problem and it's really common. And the solution is almost never to switch platforms. It's usually leadership, accountability, and incentives. And when those are all like perfectly aligned, suddenly the tool you already have becomes the tool that drives your next level of growth. Hope you enjoyed. Appreciate you watching. See you in the next one.